I'm Christelle Carls. I work the Central District in the St. Paul Police Department, and I've worked this area for 18 years. We are in the West 7th area. West 7th runs along the river, and they claim it runs east and west, but it really doesn't run a true east and west. So when newer officers come to this area, it's difficult to learn. You really have to spend a lot of time down here to figure things out. And I've been down here 18 years and I still get lost down here. Here at the Schmidt Brewery, we do have problems here. We get the urban explorers and we get the kids that want to break into here, do some graffiti. The urban explorers actually will get into this building from underground. They have certain areas where they'll get into a manhole cover and they'll walk the city for a mile, mile and a half. You could actually have 5, 10, 15 officers in here and you don't even know they're here. That's how good they are. So they know the layout down here better than anybody. When we have events going at the Xcel Energy Center, we have a lot of people that come in from out of town, out of state, especially for concerts. And the biggest problem we have when we get folks from out of town are theft from vehicles. And the parking ramps to the left, those are full too. And we had quite a few theft from autos there. The thieves that are out here know what's going on and that there's a lot of people from out of the city. And they make a pretty good haul on a night when we have a concert or a hockey game. And we were able to make a couple arrests for the people who were the ringleaders of these thefts.
So it was actually a pretty organized operation. It wasn't just a couple guys that were...
Right. It wasn't just a couple of passerbys seeing an opportunity. Yeah. 2 a.m. for the bars.
Do you get a lot of DWIs coming out of here?
You absolutely can. When it gets really busy, and I don't think it has anything to do with a particular business, but when we have the high school hockey tournaments, that's a whole different animal. A lot of young kids going to detox, a lot of people being arrested for, DWIs, a lot of people for disorderly conduct.
You think they do a decent job of checking IDs there?
I think they do, but the problem with these hotels is that these kids will bring coolers in. I used to work off duty here during the hockey tournaments, and their hockey bags that were supposed to be full of hockey equipment was, it was basically a portable barn. About 5 years ago, 5 to 7 years ago, there was a lot of gang activity down on West 7th. Not particular West 7th gangs, but gangs from the west side that would come over to West 7th and try and recruit younger kids. And for some reason, they didn't stay very long. Lately, within the last 6 months, we've had problems with some burglaries down here.
Any particular neighborhood in the West 7th?
It's kind of hit and miss. It'll quiet down for a while, and then it'll pick back up. We spend a lot of time on the side streets looking for things that don't belong. This area right here, the stretch behind Daniker's store, is a hot area.
For
thefts, for selling drugs back here, smoking marijuana. A lot of people, there's a homeless group that will hang out in this parking lot that will just sit out there and drink. And we get a lot of complaints. There's a lot of industrial down here on this end. Generally, we don't get a lot of calls back here. We don't really get a lot of... No, we don't get a lot of burglaries or anything back here. The further west you get from downtown, it's kind of the quieter it gets until you reach Sibley Plaza. Mancini Supper Club down on West 7th. We drive through here quite a bit. For some time we were having problems with people stealing out of vehicles. So when we're not going from call to call, we swing through here.
Oh, this is by far the busiest business at night through the whole
I would say yes, down here on West 7th, and it goes pretty late. Generally there are no problems with this establishment. They police themselves, and when Nick was alive, he knew everybody and everyone knew him, and he took care of his own business down here. The Gideos, I haven't had a call there. I can't even tell you. What this was known for, well, the last maybe 2 years ago when it was at its peak, is kids coming down with their hot rods, and they would just race down here, up and down, up and down. And this whole area over here would be, people would park on the grass, and the spectators would just sit here. And they'd actually have people standing in the street, just like in the movies, with the arm up in the air, ready, set, go. They'd actually have people on walkie-talkies, and they would talk to each other, and they'd let each other know if they saw any police cars down here. And this is where they would come down. They'd come down here, and then they'd go underneath, and then they'd head back for round 2. You hardly had any St. Paul kids that, you know, you'd pull somebody over. They were either from Chaska, Chanhassen, Shakopee, Eden Prairie. But this last summer, very, very little drag racing.